The Christmas season leaves behind a bit of chaos. The living room looks like a wrapping paper tornado hit it. There's toys everywhere. The kids are bouncing off the wall. And did you even make coffee this morning? In this week of in between, let's make it your secret reset window. If you're a mom who dreams of that homestead life you see on Instagram, but you feel like you'd need an extra 12 hours in your day to make it happen, along with another set of hands, then Simply Living Homestead is for you. Hi, I'm Amanda, wife, mama, and milkmaid. I've learned the secret to simplifying my time and homestead to make room for the moments that matter. If you're ready to get time back in your day, manage your home with ease, and train your children in the way they should go, grab your pitchfork and planner, friend. Let's get to work. Have you heard me talk about my coaching sessions but still feel unsure what they're actually like? If you'd love to sit down together, talk about what you're struggling with, and get real help about resetting your home or your time so that you can step into more peace and calm, I'd love to invite you to a free 15-minute call. We'll chat, see if working together is a good fit, and give you a taste of what support can feel like. Go to simplylivingHomestead.com/chat to book a free call today. Welcome back to the homestead. Today we're talking about how to create peace in your home, again, after the Christmas rush. I'll share how I'm resetting my own home this week and how you can start your year fresh and hopeful. So let's get into it. There is this space between Christmas and New Year's. It always hits me every single year. It's like, what am I even doing? There is just this period of time that time doesn't really feel like it exists. I remember feeling this when I was a kid going to school, right? Like you had all this buildup and anticipation for the holidays. You kind of came off of it living on a high. And then within a couple of days, you were just like, I'm so bored. No mother likes to hear that. I know that for sure. And now as a mom myself, I hear it a lot, unfortunately. But this episode isn't about finding things for your kids to do. It really isn't. You can have your kids help you with what this episode is about, but that's not what we're going to be talking about today. We are going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, but I don't really see them that way. New Year's resolutions are the most broken promises ever. Sorry, they are. Nobody keeps them. People start the year with the best of intentions, and very quickly their best of intentions fade because they're trying to do things on their own power. And if you are listening to this podcast, I believe that God is putting this in your life because you need something, that you are looking for something that you haven't been able to find. Maybe you feel like you're not a good mother. Maybe you feel like your house is falling apart. Maybe you feel like you're stretched so thin, like you aren't spending time just stopping and looking at your kids. They're home from school. You've got all this time with them, and yet nothing. You know, you're not stopping and looking them in the eye. Mommy's got to do something, right? And I want to speak to that. That is something that I have felt for a very long time, and I have figured out the solution to managing the things that demand my attention and really actually spending quality time with my family. And so today I really want to be talking about this goal setting, or how we can set ourselves up for success in the new year and make 2026 the year that you become the mother that you want to be, right? The mother that God is calling you to be. There is something on your heart right now, friend, that the Lord is calling you to. So I hope that you can be blessed by these thoughts. And as we reflect on this reset, I hope it brings your heart back to peace and purpose as we look forward to going into January. And if you're listening to this a couple of weeks late, as we're starting into January, let's talk about how we can set up the new year for peace in a way that's not going to die by February, by the end of February, beginning of March. Like, what can we do to really have this peace and calm and purpose in our life that isn't fabricated from just the world around us? We're going to look at this in two sections. We are going to first do a simple reset of your home so that your mind can be free to focus on the things that we need to look at. And then the second part is going to be looking at the things that we can do to kind of daydream a little bit and set ourselves up for a goal in 2026. So the first thing I want you to just remember is that peace comes from order, not perfection. Like, when things have a place, when your time has a place, when your items have a place, when people know the rhythm of your home, you are going to find so much stability in that. And if you are sitting here being this person like, but I like flying by the seat of my pants, I do too. Okay? I love spontaneousness. I am the most spontaneous person ever. And I this isn't in my notes, but we're going to drop this in here. The structure that I have created, this order, this things have their place, has actually allowed me to be more spontaneous and be effective in that spontaneousness. And that might sound a little counterintuitive to you. Like, how can so much structure and rhythm and plans and all these things, how can that let you be spontaneous? But the thing is I know what is required of me. I know the things that have to get done. And so if I choose to be spontaneous, I have the tools in place to shift those things around, do them at a different time, or say, you know what, it's been very consistent. I will be able to pick it up tomorrow. And a really good example of this is back about the middle of November. I haven't shared this on the podcast yet, but Jonathan and I decided that we were going to pursue embryo adoption. And we're not going to get into it. This is not the episode for that. But embryo adoption is where you adopt frozen embryos that were created using IVF from a family that is done creating their family, and they still have little frozen babies left. And Jonathan and I have been struggling with infertility, and the doctors say there's no reason I can't carry a child. So this felt like where the Lord was leading us. And we are in the middle of, right now, as this episode airs, we are in the middle of a very spontaneous project relating to this. I wrote a children's book, and I asked a friend to illustrate it for me, and so we are in the middle of putting together this children's book. But when I had this idea to write this children's book, it was incredibly spontaneous. Incredibly spontaneous. And it was just like, oh, this is the thing we have to do. And I wrote the book in 24 hours, and by the next morning was calling my friend and going, will you illustrate this? And she was just like, hands down, no questions asked. Yes, I'll do this. And that totally changed the course of my week, my weeks afterwards, my months, because I suddenly had this new project that I was working on. And the thing is, my house didn't fall apart because we were working on the book and storyboarding it and rewriting things and figuring out, I was spending so much brain space on this book. You're going to love it. I'll talk about it more towards the end of spring. But I spent and am spending a lot of brain power on this, and I'm still getting my work done. The living room, it dissolves into a mess sometimes because of our son. The But the kitchen, it's staying clean. The floors, it's mostly staying clean. The floors are my hardest thing. We'll just admit it now. But the thing is that my structure made it possible to get this spontaneous idea, execute it, and not die in the process. So that was a bit of a tangent. Let's actually get back to the takeaway from this episode. So we have 3 main points. The first one is we are going to reset our home after the holiday. So Christmas has just passed. Maybe if you're listening to this late, look around. Like, did you ever do a good reset? Is your home ready to enter the year? If not, it's the middle of January. You're going to do this anyway. We are going to do a quick sweep reset. Set a timer for 30 minutes. Tidy the main living areas, the kitchen, the dining table, the living room. Fold up those blanket forts that the kids are no longer playing with. Wash the cookie pans. We're going to reclaim the floor. Did stuff get stuck in a pile in a corner because it needed to be taken out to the garage? Go ahead and do that now. Basically, what we want to do is we want to clean up the large spaces. We're going to just make sure that we can walk through our home, that we can function. I literally just did this before I sat down to record this episode. I went through the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room, and I picked up the big things. There's still a few toys out on the floor. There's still some things that probably should put away on the table, but like I cleaned up the main areas. You can walk without stubbing your toes. It could be swept. Like kind of setting it into this position that if I wanted to clean it, as in like sweeping and mopping and all this sort of stuff, it totally could be done. So we're going to reset the home into that. That is point 1. Point 2, especially if you are just coming off of Christmas, is make sure every new toy, book, item, especially for the kids, but even for yourself, tool, whatever it is, it needs a place to live. And it is possible that you haven't organized the areas that these toys need to go into, but the goal is to try and get them closer to where their new home is going to be. So if you haven't organized that area, don't stress about it. Maybe they just need to go to a big basket of other like things, or maybe it just needs to make it to the kids' room, right? Maybe it needs to make it to that bookshelf. Whatever needs to happen. If you need to let go of an old toy or two, if you go to put away your books that you got for Christmas and you realize there is no room on the bookshelf, maybe you need to get rid of a couple. That hurts a lot. I don't want to get rid of my books, so don't come after me for saying that, because I sure don't want to either. I'm going to buy another bookcase. But it's one of those things where as you bring new things in, other things do need to leave. And so let's just take a quick inventory of that. So if you're following this plan, that's day 1. Let's just make sure that our house kind of is back to this livable condition after Christmas. And then the thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is, as your children are finding things to do in the home, they're playing with each other, they're making a mess of their room, like, as you're sitting there and you're like listening to all the toys get poured out onto the floor. Yeah, that feeling. Anyway, I am going to encourage you to spend a little bit of time reflecting on the previous year and looking forward to the next. So get yourself a notebook. It doesn't matter what it looks like. If you have set up your Homestead binder, this is a fabulous place to do that. If you have not set up your Homestead binder, we will talk about it later this year. And maybe you can set one up, and then next year you can do one. It's okay to just grab a piece of paper and start writing these things down. It doesn't even have to be kept if you don't feel so inclined, but the actual act of writing them down and being intentional with it is important to this process. So jot down the things that worked really well. What things are you proud of that you did this year? What things are you proud of? And then what things are you not proud of? What things do you wish you could have done better? And if possible, kind of note what could have happened or what you could do next time you need to do the thing to make it go better. This is not a activity that I want you to spend a lot of time criticizing yourself over. This is an activity where we just want to be mindful of what is going on around us. We want to be mindful of the things that have happened and like express gratefulness to God, and then even just take him the things that you didn't like. I will admit I don't have a very good prayer life, and it stinks. It is something that is on my 2026, like I am writing goals for this, that I am going to spend time in his word. I am going to spend time just simply talking to him. But something that I have been doing the last month, 2 months, something like that, is I have been talking to him kind of the same way I talk to you. As you are listening to me, in your earbuds or on your phone that's stashed in a pocket, or, however you are choosing to consume this podcast, I have started talking to God this way. And I just kind of go, well, God, here I am again. If you know the really old song, It's Me Again, Margaret, sometimes I feel that way. Just coming to God and going, hi, it's me again. I gotta talk again. And then I'll pour everything that I want to say out to him. And then I shut up. And sometimes I don't hear anything. And other times I just get this calmness, this peace, and like I get an answer. I get this brain like firing of, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes it's just great, thank you for telling me. I'll make a way. No, I'm not telling you how. I'll make a way. You'll find out when it's time. And other times it's like here's your answer. And sometimes I have had, him just be really quiet. And I have to go to him again and again and again. But every time I go, I can leave with this: he has heard me. He is working, even if he isn't listening to me. And so when you've jotted down these things and you are reflecting on this, do not be afraid to talk to God about it. And don't be afraid to go, hey, God, hi, it's me again. So let's wrap up. That's basically what it is. We want to reflect. And then as you're working through that, as you're thinking through that, write a goal. Not a New Year's resolution. Not I am going to do a thing, right? What you need to write is this time next year, I want to be here. Write a goal for your home. If you want to be ambitious, write a goal for your home, write a goal for your homestead, and write one for your heart. But this is not I am going to exercise 3 times a day. That's not that kind of goal. Write a goal that says, I would like to work towards this thing. I would like to do this thing. So I would like my downstairs living areas, we're going to be specific, to everything down there needs to have a home. It's my goal, right? For my homestead, I would like to grow a garden, and the garden needs to produce enough green beans that I actually feel confident with how much I've canned for the year. Okay. So those are your 2 things. You're going to reflect on what worked and what didn't this year, and then you're going to look forward and you're going to write one goal, just one goal for one of those things. But if you feel ambitious, one for your home, one for your homestead, and one for your heart. You don't need a perfect house to find peace We just want a little order and a little intention. We're going to take advantage of the quiet week. And by quiet week, I mean probably no activities that we have to go to. And we're going to start small. One corner, one room, one piece of paper, one goal, one idea. If you can, invite your family into the process, but at the same time, you can make this a little you and God thing. Okay? So today I'm going to encourage you to spend 30 minutes resetting your main living space and then share the before and after moment in our free community group, our Facebook group. You can find that at simplylivinghomestead.com/community. And come share your picture. And I would love to celebrate with you that you did it. You spent the time and you reset it. And I would love to see you over there sharing that. Remember, friend, peace begins with creating space to breathe. A reset home leads to a peaceful heart as you head into the new year. Start small, do it together, and step into the next season of hope. If you want to start the next year out strong, but you don't know how to get there, are your days overwhelming enough that you don't feel like you could possibly take one more decision? Friend, let me help you make those decisions with you. Book a coaching call with me and we can get your days straightened out by tackling the thing that's eating the most amount of your time. If you want to book a free coaching, 15-minute, just quick conversation to see if it's a right fit, simplylivinghomestead.com/chat. But if you know you're ready to dive in and have an hour with me and we're going to actually knock out some real attainable systems for you, simplylivinghomestead.com/coach and book today. And friend, we will see you next week. Hey neighbor, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share this episode with a friend who is knee-deep in their own homestead? Also, please leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It thrills me to know that this podcast is helping you. Keep watching those sunsets, friend. I'll meet you back here on the homestead soon for another episode. See ya!